Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be installing the ARB twin air compressor on the Gladiator. Now when I decided to go with the ARB dual air compressor, I started looking at a lot of different places to try to mount the compressor itself. And one of the most common things, well, there's actually two, but one of the neatest things was actually under the hood. There's some companies that make some brackets that will actually mount just below the brake booster underneath the hood. The problem with that is I was worried about being able to get the switches and the connections with my S-Pod and everything else that I've got going on under the hood. Plus, I really didn't want to deal with the heat of it. The other common solution is to put it in the cab, either under the rear seats, behind the rear seats on the wall, or even under the passenger front seat. The thing I don't like about that is when the compressor is on for any reason, it's going to generate a lot of noise inside the cabin, and I really didn't want that. So then I got to thinking, where else can I mount this? And I do have the deck system, and I've got these ammo cans that aren't very useful for me right now. So I thought, why not mount it in here? So after taking some measurements, I figure this will actually fit pretty darn perfect right inside the ammo can here. So go up about like that. And that's going to allow me to do a couple of things. I can mount a switch panel in here somewhere, which I'm going to figure that out, so I can just pull the cover off, hit the switch to turn it on. I'm going to have everything hidden, so I'm going to have to run wires from the ammo can here at the back up to the battery at the front, so we'll figure that out. But the other thing is, as I mentioned in my previous videos, I will be reinstalling the Rebel bed rack. So what I'll actually be able to do is, from the compressor here in the ammo can, run stainless steel lines, braided lines, underneath the deck panel up through the sides here, and actually mount my air connectors on the Rebel bed rack, so I'll have one on either side of the vehicle that I can connect to air up. So I think this will be a pretty unique solution. I'm hoping it's going to work out well. I don't see why it wouldn't. But I definitely think this is going to be kind of a unique solution that's going to give me a good place to mount it without having to deal with excessive heat, excessive noise inside the cabin, and easy access to it at any time. So we're going to get started on that today. All right, so to get started, the first thing we're going to need to do is actually start pulling the deck system apart. So I'm going to pull these rails. I'm going to pull the tape measure, or whatever they're calling this end plate here, and then we can start actually unbolting the top plates. so we got the passenger side of the deck system all torn apart. Got the ammo can out. So now I'm going to need to drill the drain holes in the bottom of it, and then I can figure out how to lay out the template to actually mount the bracket for the air compressor. So I got the compressor mounted into the ammo can. Obviously I'm going to have to extend the power wires to go all the way up to the front of the battery. So the ARB instructions say that if you need to add wire, to do it only after the fuse block from the battery. So this needs to be close to the battery. So I cut that off so I could splice in a wire in between, and that also allowed me to run the harness through an existing hole here in the ammo can. So this will now, I can now run this up the side of the bed underneath the deck system, and I'll probably just go up and over the rail of the cab, and then down in between the cab and the bed, down to the frame, and then running across the frame and up to the battery area. Alright, so I've got the air compressor installed and the switch. Got a couple of lines run. I ran a line up here to a T, another line coming off for the actual air chuck, and then another one going right behind in between the deck system and the back of the bed. It goes over to the other side. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to loosely install the corners of the Rebel Off-Road Explorer bed rack, figure out where I'm going to mount it and how I'm going to route the air lines so that I don't have a ton hanging out, and figure out how I can best secure that. So here it is. I've got my lines coming up. I ended up just drilling through the side of the uprights here to mount the actual airport there at the air chuck. So it's nice and tight inside, so I don't think I have to worry about hitting it. I did have some brackets, but they stuck out a little bit further, so I decided just to go ahead and drill straight into there. So got both sides mocked up in place. I haven't tightened them up and actually Teflon taped it and all that kind of stuff, because I am going to end up taking those back off. But the next thing I can do now is I can start putting the deck system back together and get everything buttoned up there, and then that part will be done. And the air compressor itself will be pretty well complete. got the deck system all reinstalled. My air lines run to the front, and of course the ARB compressor. Pretty happy with the install of that. I think it's a nice, clean, hidden solution. That's going to make sure I don't have a bunch of noise inside the cabin or a bunch of heat from under the hood. So that is the ARB twin air compressor install. So the next thing I'm going to work on is actually reinstalling the Rebel Off-Road Explorer bed rack. I am actually going to put the headache rack in, and I'm actually going to use that to mount my high lift jack to it. So going to get started on that. That's definitely going to take a little bit of time. I've got a few other little things to do with that, including some more lighting. So hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll have a new video with the bed rack and the other accessories that are going on that here soon.